What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to talk about something I think keeps a lot of newcomers out of the hobby or pushes them out really quickly, and also people who are in the hobby and are just tired of dealing with this one issue. So the issue I'm talking about is, of course, algae. Algae is in every single aquarium I have, and part of what is difficult about this hobby is managing algae. So I've tried a whole bunch of stuff over the years to combat algae, be it water changes, filtration, that kind of thing. But today I'm going to talk about a trick that a lot of people recommend for treating algae. And that trick specifically is a 3-day blackout. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give that a try on actually 2 of my aquariums in the fish room. And we're going to see the before and after, how it works, any issues it causes, that kind of thing. So yeah, stay tuned and let's take a look at what kind of algae we got going on and then how we're going to do the blackout. So the first tank I think could benefit from a 3-day blackout is my Red Sea Reefer Reef Aquarium. So overall, the tank I would say is in a pretty healthy state, meaning like all of the corals seem to be doing pretty well. But I'm dealing with cyanobacteria, which is not an algae per se. It's technically a bacteria, but it's very annoying. So I siphon this all out of the sand bed. I blow the rocks, try and get it all out. And oftentimes it grows back within the same day, which is absolutely insane. So a lot of people say that if you're having cyano in a reef tank, you don't have enough flow or you're feeding too much. So I've tried that and it does seem to help, but I'm still dealing with a little bit I'd like to get rid of. So basically I would like to try a 3-day blackout here and see if I can just kick it down and keep it there so it doesn't come back. So in combination with increasing flow, reducing feeding, hopefully I can get rid of it and keep it gone. The next tank I think could benefit from a 3-day blackout is my UNS 40C freshwater planted tank. So if you guys have been following the channel, you know that I've been dealing with blackbeard or black brush algae, whichever you want to call it, in this aquarium. So I did a video about the treatment options, be it hydrogen peroxide or Flourish Excel, manual removal, and it does seem to work, but it keeps coming back with a vengeance. And it just means that I have to, every week, deal with this algae and spend a lot of time treating it, which is really keeping me from enjoying the tank. So I'm hoping that with the 3-day blackout, I can kill off any trace of it. I may also dose hydrogen peroxide with this tank to deal with the black brush algae while it's undergoing its 3-day blackout. We'll see. I'm not really sure if that's a good idea or not. But yeah, I'm hoping a 3-day blackout will clear up this BBA. Before I start the blackout, I do want to feed the fish one more time. They haven't eaten today. The lights are going to be out for 3 days. Let's give them one more meal before we start the blackout. Funny, my bigger clown seems to be really spooked. I don't know if it's the camera or what, but usually she is not this shy. Maybe she heard me talking about the 3-day blackout. All right, let's feed the rummy nose tetras. Come on, guys. You ready? Get it, buddy. And here, Darty. Feast, kings. So in order to keep all of the light out of the aquariums for the next 3 days, even the ambient room lights that are gonna be on while I'm in here working, I went out and picked up this contractor's paper from my home improvement center and also painter's tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up and basically mask off both tanks so that no light can get in. So it'll be as close to pitch black as possible. And we're done. So I'm not too proud of the tape job I did on the Red Sea reefer. It was really difficult to get around these magnetic MP40 power heads. And also on the other side, there's a frag rack. Maybe hard to see. Oh yeah, it's underneath there. But yeah, just magnetic stuff stuck to the glass, made it hard. I decided not to do the same thing over the top and tape it. This way with a towel, I can just kind of peek inside, check on things, make sure they're okay. Oh, clownfish. This one was a hell of a lot easier because I have this top and it comes with these screws that help you attach to the glass. So this was a perfect anchor for the paper. So that worked out quite well. So at this point, there's not much left to do. We're just going to wait for 3 days and then see what both tanks look like. So stay tuned. All right, it has been exactly or almost exactly 72 hours since I started the blackout on each tank. I did forget to mention that I turned off all of the dosers for both tanks. Because there's no point, for example, in a planet tank to be injecting CO2 while the lights aren't on, because there's no photosynthesis happening. And likewise, corals aren't growing without light, so they don't need the supplements like the calcium, alkalinity, that sort of thing. All right, so let's get the towels and paper off the tank and take a look. All right, so I haven't turned on the lights just yet, but I did notice there are these micro brittle stars and Asterina starfish all over the glass. So unfortunately, while I was fumbling around with this magnetic power head trying to get the paper behind it, I must have lodged the power head inside the bird's nest coral. That was a bit of a mistake. Fortunately though, this pump I did leave off, so I think the coral should be okay. I'll just move that power head. I guess we'll see. All right, so I just turned the Kessels back on. I did a slow ramp back up to the normal intensity, just because the corals haven't seen light in 3 days. So this is a tank. Things are looking, I think, a lot better. I still do see some traces of cyano. But I think, you know, what I really should have done is tried to get as much as possible out before the blackout. I think that would have worked better. Even so though, I see a lot of it did die off and I guess got pulled into my filtration system. So overall, I would call this a success. I mean, it's definitely not a home run or miracle because I can still see some cyano in places. But hopefully with the increased flow and reduced feeding, this will knock it down enough so it's not really a big issue anymore. So I didn't really notice any negative effects to any of the fish or coral or other livestock. It seems like after I turned the lights back on, everything, all the polyps came back out and extended. The fish are moving around, they seem fine. So yeah, I kind of actually wish that I went for an extra day or two because I think I could have, and that would have helped with cyano a little bit more. But yeah, so if you're thinking about doing this, definitely don't worry about your corals or your fish. They'll be fine for at least 3 days. All right, now it's time to deal with the UNS 40C. So I actually let this tank go blackout for an extra day just because I know how resilient blackbrush algae is, and I wanted to really like punch it in the mouth. So let's get this cover off and see how things look. Okay, I just kicked on the lights, so let's go take a look around the tank. Particularly at the areas where there was blackbrush algae. So as you can see, it is still here. I'm actually wondering if now it's easier to like scrub off with a brush, because one thing about BBA is it's really hard to get off even with like a wire brush. It just sticks really well to like hardscape, plants, wood, that kind of thing. So let's give it a try to see if it comes off. Interesting. So it does look like it's coming off really easily now. So I guess I'll scrape a bunch, do a water change to see if I can remove as much as possible. All right, so unfortunately, the blackbeard algae did not scrub off like I thought it might have. It definitely seems to weaken it and maybe reduce it in a lot of areas, but it did not completely eliminate the problem. Okay, so my overall thoughts on this technique, the 3-day blackout, is that it does work. It will get rid of a lot of algae, and it doesn't matter if it's a saltwater tank, freshwater tank. I think it'll work on any type of algae that's photosynthetic. That being said, you've still got to address the root cause issue, because just because you get rid of a lot of it doesn't mean it won't come back given the right conditions. Okay, that about wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing for more aquarium related content. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.